charging suit, you know, with the big heavy rubber aprons, and gloves up to here, and that whole gloss it on. And he gave him a dustpan and a brush, and he made him stick his head down in them goddamn mines and sweep up all the loose TNT. That's all I could think of. I'm surprised the kid didn't have a heart attack and die. You know?
Did you ever know Gunnar Chardon?
Yes.
He was at Westlock.
Yeah.
And I had been there 3 years, and I'm getting ready to get orders, and he asked me 3 times, "You want to stay here?" Because I guess I was pretty sharp as a second class at that time. But anyway, this one time there was a special services store on an LST to go over to a Maui on. They had a master chief, or the chief master at arms. I says, "I wanted to go on that trip, Chief." He says, "I don't know, I'm sorry we didn't have it in the plan of today." Well, I go to work. He calls me a couple hours later, and he says, "Get over to this office." Chardon had a request sheet already signed for me. He says, "Get up to Lululay, get your orders, and get down to Pearl Harbor on that ship."
That ship was an LST, and it would take you to the Big Island, and they had a rest camp up there.
Yeah.
Up at the volcano.
Yeah.
I took my wife, and they took your car also. I had a car. They loaded that on the T. The wife and the old bat was there. We took her.
The men were in the after cabin, and the women were in the forward cabin.
And we spent a week up there in the rest camp. It was really nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it was when I came through to Hawaii through the receiving station at Pearl Harbor. There was a seaman master at arms, and I was a second class then. And that son of a bitch had me sweeping floors and all that, because he was master at arms. You know, he had that goddamn badge. So finally, Lululay sent a pickup over to pick me up. And when I left there, I looked him right in the eye and I said, "Kid, you and I are going to cross paths again, and you're not going to have that badge on." And I went up there, and guess who was mess cooking at that goddamn rest camp? That fucking seaman boy. And he was there, and I said, "You don't remember me, do you?" And he said, "No, I don't." I said, "Well, I remember you, and this is it, kid." Boy, he was a mean little son of a bitch.
In 1960, Kilauea erupted, and it shot fire for 7 days, 600 feet in the air. Well, the day that it started, this buddy of mine says, "You want to go over?" So the next day we went over, flew over, and had no trouble. I got leaving, and we were up close where we could feel the heat.
Oh, really?
And the next day they had it roped off where you couldn't get up close. But yeah, I saw that shooting fire 600 feet in the air. That was amazing.
Were you there when the plane crashed into the mountain over Lululay?
Yeah.
They had 66 guys on that goddamn thing.
Yeah.
And we helped bring down the bodies and take them to Hickam. And I never forgot what those bodies looked like. Every time I fly, I have a flashback. I say, those crispy critters really didn't look that good.
I was over in Nam, and of course I was a hotel manager in Saigon, and the Navy support had 60 hotels for people that were coming into the country, and also in administration. So I was a manager. I had to order light bulbs and toilet paper and things like that if you had public works call. But you had civilians, desk clerks and maids, and you just check all the hotels. But yeah, that wasn't too bad. Good duty.
Good duty. Never had any good duty. Always had guys like him. He was the first hippie third class I ever met.
Those were the rough days.
You were in your formative years.
But while I was at Nam, I got to know his army sergeant who was at Bien Hoa, about 40 miles up the road. And he'd come in and we'd give him like used furniture because he was building like a AOM club. Bien Hoa was an Air Force base, and they also had the paratroopers. And anyway, he took me up for a weekend, And he's in his Jeep, and he pulls off to the side, and we're stuck in the mud. And so there's this hospital tent. And while we're there, a helicopter comes in. They're bringing stretchers in here, body bags just thrown off to the side. You know, and anyway, there was a tank that comes by and he says, "Hey, pull us out." So this tank pulls us out. Then we drive around and we go over to the bar and have a couple of beers.
Education, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. But I also saw, he says, "You see those planes? You don't see them." That was the U-2s. They flew out
No,
of
you
there.
don't see that. I tell
The
everybody-
Canberras also, the British U-2s.
And I think you were here when I told you that the job I had in the Philippines, we were protected with a company of Marines and electronic barbed wire. And the guns were all loaded with the Marines.
Inside, on the grounds, all
And I guess
around.
one of them rock monkeys crossed the barrier, you know, and that old jarhead blasted him away, pow, pow. And the sergeant of the guard come, "What the hell?" He said, "You can't shoot the monkeys. They don't know that there's electronic fence out
And
there."
there's nothing in there, maybe a fourth.
I asked the jarhead, "What the hell?" He said, "I yelled halt before I shot him."
It's nothing like it was last
You
night.
know, you tell these stories, you can't make them up. They just happen.
They're doing a lot of renovation.
But there's nothing.
We had a
in it
password and a
anymore,
duress
like it
word.
was, you know,
And if you give the
13,
duress
14
word,
years ago,
all the
they
bad
had
things you could
pictures
think
or,
of
you know,
happened.
just beautiful
You'd be
pieces
laying
of
on the ground,
kind of
this
crazy.
steely-eyed 18-year-old Marine with a shotgun pointing at you. And you're
It
saying,
was electric.
"God damn it,
But
don't
they
pull
had-
that trigger."
There was this big tree out in front.
Oh, God.
Over 150 years old.
Those stories, and some people worked with me, give me
Still
one
goes
here.
out. You know, still go, because it's still interesting. It's just.
We had, when this young man was with us, we really had a good crew. Really and truly had a great crew. They had me wrapped around their fingers like you can't believe.
It was a good time.
It was a good time.
No, you know, off
You do
there.
need to go.
Where did we together, Don?
You do need to go, though.
Us?
Yeah,
Charleston?
okay.
Yeah.
You were on deck?
Yeah.
Okay, I was